All right, guys, we're going to start this show shortly. Good show lineup for you on a Wednesday. Still many in Central Virginia, including yours truly, without power at home. We got some questions for you. What have we learned about the Dominion electric monopoly? Through this snowpocalypse, what have we learned about the Dominion electric monopoly? I will address that question. I'm curious of your take. What have you guys learned about Dominion Electric and its monopoly through this snowpocalypse? Put the answers in the feed, guys, on any of the social media platforms you're watching upon. Please hit the like button, just like Scott Aaronworth did in Virginia Beach. Like and share the show. I also want to talk about the Barracks Road Snow Mountain. Every year, when it snows, especially snow of this magnitude, the plowing companies plow the snow in Barracks Road into one mountain. How long will that snow mountain last here in Barracks Road? J-Dubs, we go onto the J-Dubs page over there? Excellent. Judah Wickhauer is our director. Very curious to get Judah Wickhauer's take on some of these comments as well. How about the over-under on the Barracks Road Snow Mountain? Will the Barracks Road Snow Mountain make it into March? We will ask that question. How about this one? What companies love this weather? What companies benefit for snowstorms of this magnitude when power is out across a region? What companies are licking their chops? Maybe that's not the right term, but what companies financially benefit from snowpocalypses? We'll talk about that today on the show. Virginia basketball got an impressive road victory against Clemson. Of course, I could not watch that game. I legitimately was watching the game through a 30-second refresh on my Apple Watch. And all I could get was a score update because I had no power at home. UVA is 9-5 on the season, 3-1 in ACC play. They're at North Carolina on Saturday. And Troy Aikman's launching a light beer company. So much to cover on the I Love Seville show. Give it a like, give it a share, give it a like, give it a share. On a fabulous day to be above the mud in Central Virginia. It's all about perspective, my friends. Jojo Robertson, hello. Nicholas Erpy, que pasa chico? Hello, hello, hello. Steve, welcome to the program. Steve Mackey, hello and welcome to the show. Judah, we can rock and roll when you are ready. Keith Smith, if you're watching or listening to this show, you took the bathroom keys from the green room. We have to go to the bathroom really badly. Can you please bring them back to the studio, my friend, please? Give the show a like and a share. Give it a like and a share. Give it a like and a share. J-Dubs, we can rock and roll when you're ready.
Quite on the set.
Good Wednesday afternoon. Jerry Miller, and welcome to the I Love Seville show. Thank you kindly for joining us. Still the Central Virginia region, much of the Charlottesville and Albemarle County jurisdictions are managing, battling, handling, dealing with Snow Apocalypse 2022, including yours truly, my wife, my 3.5-year-old, our 3.5-year-old, and our house and our family have not had power since Monday morning at roughly 9 a.m. We are now going Tuesday, 48 plus hours without power. I'll tell you what, you learn a lot about yourself when you start losing the amenities you go to appreciate, including power, ACC basketball, and internet access. So much to cover on today's show, including the Dominion electric monopoly. I will address this topic. Judah Wickhauer, you offer your thoughts if you could on the Dominion electric monopoly and what we have learned about this monopoly through Snow Apocalypse 2022. I will ask this question. Who benefits from snowstorms? Which companies benefit the most during snow apocalypses from a bottom line revenue standpoint? There's a snow mountain in Barracks Road. Do we have a legitimate picture, J-Dubs, of that snow mountain? Is it kind of, it's a small one, right?
It's not great, but it's up on the screen now.
Okay, look at the screen now. For those that are watching, I know many of you stream to iTunes, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify in your cars. But if you're watching in real time, look at the screen now. We will talk about the Barracks Road Snow Mountain on this program, and we will put an over-under on when this snow mountain will melt. Could it last to March? Could it last to April? Could it last beyond April? The Barracks Road Snow Mountain. Remember, before you place your bet and before you chitter-chatter about this at cocktail parties or on social media, they are calling for more snow on Thursday and Friday and this weekend potentially, which will further contribute to the Barracks Road Snow Mountain that Judah, it looks pretty tall, that Barracks Road Snow Mountain. Could this...
Massive.
It's massive. Judah says it's massive. Could this last into May? We will talk about that today on the program. Skooma Boutique Dispensary, part of this show, a fantastic partner. David and his beautiful wife at Skooma Boutique Dispensary have all your needs from a CBD and Delta 8 standpoint. Skooma Boutique Dispensary on the downtown mall located next to Rapture, the best dispensary in Charlottesville. Scott Wagner of Scott Wagner Integrated Medicine. Who's got your back? Dr. Wagner. Dr. Wagner of Scott Wagner Integrated Medicine has your back. Give the show a like and a share. Hit the like button and share it now, please. We'll talk ACC basketball, UVA and Clemson. The Wahoos got an impressive 75-65 victory over Clemson last night. Wahoos 9-5 on the season, 3-1 in ACC play. They traveled to North Carolina on Saturday in an ACC clash of tremendous proportions. Many restaurants in the community. Scott Aaronworth, I just got your text messages now as I headed into the studio. I did not see them last night, my friend. We do not have a power at home. So my friend, the Esquire from Virginia Beach, often contributes to this program. And I say many times on the show, the biggest foodie in Charlottesville does not actually probably live in Charlottesville. He resides in Virginia Beach, and that's Scott Aaronworth. He follows the local food scene as closely as anyone, certainly as closely as I do. Taste Shack, now on a brief hiatus. We love Justin and Candace and their family. On a brief hiatus due to COVID. They're getting the entire staff tested. Thank you, Scott, for sending that our way. And we'll see Taste Shack and Follow as they get back online. Multiverse Kitchens has put on social, that's Harrison Keevil, the chef's business, his portfolio of food and beverage brands. Multiverse Kitchens, this is what they put on social, out of an abundance of caution, we will be pivoting to a takeaway and delivery model only for the time being, no drive-in. But we have no fear. This is what Multiverse is designed to do, pivot on a dime and still produce delicious food. So you're seeing, with the snow apocalypse, I hate to see this. I hate to see this. The snow apocalypse, combined with Omicron and COVID, is once again most negatively impacting the categories of business that have been most negatively impacted throughout this pandemic. Food and beverage, live music, weddings and events, hospitality. The craving or the affinity or the desire to dine outside in 20-degree or below weather is not there. You combine that with the snow apocalypse and our favorite brands, locally owned, suffering the most. I hate when it rains, it pours. I despise that. And the big box brands benefit. We will talk about that today on the show. Which businesses and companies love this weather? Unfortunately, it's many of the big box ones and not the local ones. I'll give you my take in a matter of minutes. First, the lead of the show, Judah. Get that two-shot ready. I'll give my thoughts and then we'll get your perspective, okay? Judah Wickower. Dominion Electric, once again, has shown and proven to us as customers that they have a monopoly of tremendous and heinous proportions. I have no other option for my electricity than in Dominion where I live, in eastern Albemarle County. You call Dominion and you ask them any kind of update about when our electricity will be restored, and we have no electricity at home. We have a 3.5-year-old, and I am blessed. We are blessed. My wife knows we're blessed. We have a roof over our head. We're fortunate to have a gas fireplace to keep us warm. We haven't had, knock on wood, I hate to even say this, impacts to the structural integrity of the home from this inclement weather, trees or anything else like that. And this gas fireplace is the sole option to heat our home. When the fireplace is not on, the temperatures dip into the 40s inside the house. On our lower level, we took out a thermometer and the temperature was 42 degrees inside last night. On our upper level, the temperature when the gas fireplace was on was in the 60s, low. When it was off, 50s, low 50s. I don't worry about myself. I care about my wife and our 3.5-year-old first. Multiple layers, and everyone is going through this now. It's not woe is me, it's everyone. It's community. How many of us are sleeping in multiple layers right now? How many of us are utilizing 4 to 5 blankets right now to sleep? How many of us are finding that our groceries are better served buried in the snow outside than our refrigerators? Who's keeping their milk and their perishables, their eggs, their meats, their bacons, their cheeses outside on the deck buried in a snow igloo than inside their fridge? I am. We are. You pick up the damn phone. You go online with the little cell service you have. You wait 4.5 minutes for a page to load. And what's the update from Dominion? The power is out. You know the reason they give, Judah? Snowstorm. That's the reason they give for the power being out right now. A snowstorm.
Not wrong.
They put an update where we live in eastern Albemarle County last night. You know what the update was? 11 p.m. yesterday. Do we have power now? No. And guess what? They can say, they can do, they can publish online whatever the HE double hockey sticks they want. And you want to know why? Because we got no other choice. We got no other competitors in the space. The power goes back on. We're aggravated, we're pissed, we're frustrated and fed up with Dominion. Guess what? We still pay them. We want to find another choice. Guess what? We still pay them. My wife, phenomenal woman, the foundation of our family, 2 nights ago was cooking dinner for our son and I with a miner's flashlight on her forehead on a camping stovetop little hibachi, getting the fluffiest, most delicious basil-infused, cheese-infused eggs for us for dinner. I sprint home because I know the house gets dark at 4:30, 4:45. And I walk into the house and I see our better half with a miner's light on her forehead. Our 3-year-old at the table wearing his parka, a hoodie, a long sleeve shirt and ski pants, shivering, and she's cooking up some basil integrated, cheese integrated eggs for us to have for dinner. We take the candles that we put in the windows for Christmas to commemorate the holiday season, battery candles that go in the windows of most houses over Christmas, many houses, for the festive spirit. We remove them from the windows. We aggregate them on the counter of our house to give us a little light. I'm going to show you the primary source of visibility in our house here in a matter of moments. I'm going to leave this chair. I'm going to go right over to my left, stage right. For 5 seconds, I'm going to bring you our primary source of visibility, a battery. This, look at the screen. This Makita battery is our primary source of visibility in our house since Monday morning at 9 a.m. I bring it, thank God we have this office with electricity in downtown Charlottesville. I bring all our devices here to charge, primarily and most importantly, this Makita light. Look at the screen. I charge it, and I got to be home before 4:30 when the sun sets or there's no visibility for the better half in our 3.5-year-old. Here's what I learned. The snowpocalypse and not having electricity for going on 72 hours now. Not quite that long. We'll call it, quick math, 48 plus 3, 4, 52 hours now. 52 hours is legitimate time. This is what I've learned over the last 52 hours. We're very fortunate as Charlottesvillians and Central Virginians to live in a time where amenities are bountiful. Snowpocalypse and times of struggle like this offer perspective and put in clear visibility and perspective of the benefits we have in 2022. Power, internet, devices, connectivity, social media, light bulbs, hot water, gas fireplaces. There was a time, 100 years ago? Have you seen, there's a new show on Paramount Plus. It's called 1883. 1883 is a show that's been done by the team behind Yellowstone. Who watches the show Yellowstone on the Paramount Network? Judah, do you watch that show? Let's get the 2 shots so people can see that handsome mug of yours. Wave to your adoring fans. Love you, Judah. Yellowstone on Paramount Network. You watch that at all?
I don't have Paramount Network.
It's fantastic. We'll give you our credentials so you can use. You would enjoy.
I don't know that I'll watch it. But
Okay, you don't watch much TV.
Not a whole lot.
There's a new show on the Paramount Network. It's actually on their sister network called Paramount Plus called 1883. And the show is the precursor of the Dutton family in Yellowstone. It's how the Dutton family got to Montana and got the Yellowstone Ranch. And the show is very much this rite of passage, this manifest destiny of a father who's Tim McGraw. Tim McGraw plays the father. The wife, played by, is it Faith Hill? It's Faith Hill, right? I get Faith Hill and Faith Evans confused. Faith Hill. And their daughter and their son. And this family has to take a trip via horse-drawn wagon. And I'm not going to give any spoilers here. Horse-drawn wagon with a gaggle, a flock, a massive following of French gypsies.
This doesn't turn into the Donner Party, does it?
Sam Elliott, Tim McGraw, Faith Hill, and their daughter, blonde daughter, crafty, resourceful, beautiful lady, are the main characters in 1883. And this gaggle, this flock, this group of French gypsies and the Dutton ancestors struggle in the outdoors without the amenities we have today. They battle copperheads, bandits, disease, lack of water, murder, inclement weather, heat, cold, everything. And we, 50-some hours into the snowpocalypse, get a cheesecake sliver of what our ancestors 125, 150 years ago dealt with from a day-to-day life. We got a cheesecake sliver of it, a morsel, a crumb of their reality. Ice-cold showers in the morning suck, sure. I took one. I lasted about 5 seconds in there. I got my hair wet. Then I put some deodorant on and some cologne. So if something smells in here, it's me.
How sweaty are you getting in a 45-degree house?
These lights make me sweat.
These lights do not make you sweat.
Do you see?
It's not the lights.
Look at the screen. I'm showing some vulnerability here. What do you see here?
What I don't see is...
What do you see here? Look at the screen.
What I don't see is cause and effect.
What do you see here?
You can't prove the lights caused that.
What is this?
It's an armpit spot.
That's called pit sweat.
Yeah. It didn't prove anything. It doesn't prove the lights caused that.
Is pit sweat good for your aroma?
I'm
Look.
not the person to ask about that.
This is vulnerability. Look at the screen. Is pit sweat good for your aroma?
Some people might say it is.
I guess I'm going to go with two things here, and I'm getting a little off track.
You don't say.
I know. I was talking about the Dominion Electric monopoly and what we've learned from Dominion Electric, and now I'm raising my
And then you got into
arms and showing
and then it went to
people my
Donner
pit
Party
sweat.
and pit sweat.
Yeah, showing people my pit sweat. This is live programming at its finest here on the I Love Seville network. Look, this is what I learned. Scott Aaronworth says pit sweat is not good for your aroma, Jared. Thank you, Scott in Virginia Beach. I hope you have power. This is what I've learned. It can always be harder. Mark McKenney, I'll get to your comment. Life can always be more challenging. You don't have rattlesnakes biting you in the tail like they do in 1883, or bandits coming out of the woods to shoot and kill your offspring and steal you of your little bread and the spirits that you have in your wagon. We have a roof over our head, a gas fireplace to keep the house at the low 62, 63 degree temperature, a cooler to keep our perishables from going bad, and the family unit together. It's about perspective. And once again, my better half is carrying the damn load at home, as I am here at work making a living for the family. The most challenging job in America is that of a stay-at-home parent, especially with a youngster in the fold. Especially when the electricity and power is out, school is not online or an available option. It looks like potentially all week long school is not going to be an available option. There is not a more challenging gig in America than the stay-at-home parent that's spending day after day after day after day with a child, entertaining, engaging, and lacking the amenity of technology and electricity and power and baths and warm water and a nice meal to keep them fed and not cranky and entertained. Now, let's get back to the topic du jour, J-Dubs.
Which one was that?
Dominion Electric. Are you still on the two-shot?
Yeah.
What have we learned from Dominion Electric? I'll tell you what I've learned. We'll go back and forth and have a conversation. A, they can say and do whatever the hell they want. They can say what caused the power outage, 2 words on their website, snowstorm. They can lie to us and say the power is going to be on in eastern Albemarle County 11 p.m. last night, which they did. We waited until 11 p.m. and stayed up as a family. Guess what? Power didn't come on. You got the spirit and the jovial nature of someone that has power over there. Look at that conditioned and shampooed hair. That beard is looking quite sharp, my friend. You're rather handsome looking. Can you raise your arms in the air? Do you have any pit sweat? Can we see if you have any pit sweat?
That has nothing to do.
Do you have any pit sweat?
How does your pit sweat prove that?
Do you have any pit sweat?
How does your pit sweat prove that you have no power at home? How is there any correlation there at all?
The pit sweat correlation could be aroma then. You'll give me that.
No.
What? You won't give me that.
And not
Ray Cadell says, and no Virginia state of emergency. How bad does it need to get? Let me ask you this. You have Virginians trapped on 95, including Senator Tim Kaine, for 19, 20-plus hours. You have the major roads that come in and out of central Virginia, 64, 81, and 95, essentially shuttered and closed. You have seniors in their homes without generators, powers, and temperature dipping into the teens on a night-in and night basis. Explain to me, someone explain to me why we're not in a Commonwealth state of emergency.
Are we talking about Dominion now, or are we talking about
All the above.
Virginian government?
All the above.
Okay.
All the above. Dominion. You know what Dominion has us? By the short and curlies. By the cojones.
Okay, but is that necessary?
Where can I go besides Dominion?
Solar? Am I wrong?
You're not wrong. Can I be straightforward? And I love solar. What happens if you have panels on your roof and they're covered with snow? Can you get solar?
I mean, I don't think...
You have panels on your roof and they're covered by snow.
There's got to be something that they do about it. There's got to be some way around that. I don't know what the answer is, but seriously, if people that in snowy areas lost their solar for months out of the year, there's got to be...
Mark, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Finish your thought. I apologize.
Maybe they grease those solar panels up and the snow slides right off. I don't know. But seriously,
your solution to the snowy snow panels, the snowy solar panels, is Vaseline.
Some Pam.
Is some Pam and some Vaseline. Mark McKinney, who's watching in Crozet, puts this in the feed. Live on 15 Facebook pages, live across 15 Twitter accounts, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, every social media platform possible. Mark McKinney says this. You know why we don't have a state of emergency in Virginia? Because we have a governor who is leaving office in 10 days. A state of emergency would create more headaches and work for an outgoing administration. Mark McKinney. Here's the question. Ralph Northam. You say I say his last name right? Wrong, right?
Northam?
Ralph Northam. That's what I said. Ralph Northam. The governor of Virginia, prior to Snow Apocalypse 2022, did a relatively decent job of rehabilitating his image, his brand, post-blackface yearbook debacle. Who remembers Ralph Northam's blackface yearbook debacle? You chuckle. It happened.
No, I chuckle because you said Northam again.
You remember Governor Ralph's blackface yearbook debacle, do you?
Yeah, I remember that.
That was a debacle the entire nation was glued to. He, since that debacle, has rehabilitated his image. Is the lasting legacy, and remember, lasting legacies are often the image or the sequences or the turn of events that we, in the bottom of the ninth inning, experience at the last moment. Is Governor Ralph's lasting legacy or most memorable turn of events, sequences, or circumstances Snow Apocalypse 2022? How he left thousands of Virginians stranded on interstates, senior citizens frigid and freezing in their homes without power, and failed to call a Commonwealth state of emergency because it required too much work in the last week and a half of his administration. Is that Ralph's lasting memory and legacy? Judah?
Apparently. I mean, if you're gonna put all that together in one spot, I mean, saying that it's his fault that people got caught on the interstate, I mean, come on.
It's not his fault, but how he managed the collateral damage of people getting caught and stranded on the interstate is tied to him. The most powerful elected official in the Commonwealth is the governor. Tim Kaine, in a series of tweets, stranded on 95 heading to D.C., state senator of Virginia, literally said, I went from angry to a mode of survival while sitting in my car in temperatures in the teens. Angry to a mentality of, good Lord, am I going to survive? And that is human nature. Not everyone, when getting in a vehicle, packs parkas, jackets, gloves, the right socks, and blankets because they anticipate they can get in their car and run straightly inside to where they're going. So oftentimes they don't bring the right gear to survive 20 plus hours in a vehicle and temperatures in the teens. Is that fair? I certainly don't.
The last part's definitely fair.
That's fair,
Yeah.
right? What the governor could have done is gotten blankets and water with the help of the National Guard to stranded motorists on 95, 81, 64. And what I have learned throughout this is the following. Dominion is a monopoly of terrifying proportions that doesn't give a rat's behind about its customers. You disagree.
You know, I'm not.
You disagree.
I would.
I don't mind if you disagree.
Let me start by saying I'm not defending Dominion, and I'm not saying they are not all of those things, but in a disaster of this proportions, and
You would call this a disaster, right?
well, it's
You don't call this a disaster?
you know what? People have gone without power for weeks in some cases like this, and I don't think that's going to happen here.
I'll counter this, and I don't want to interrupt you, and I apologize for doing so. Not at this magnitude of people. We're talking
Not at this magnitude.
90,000 people.
Have you ever read the news after a hurricane or a tornado? I mean, this is. I agree that it's horrible, and I have the utmost sympathy for all the people who are without power, yourself included.
Thank you.
I've lived through similar things. I remember my dad staying up all night in Maine to stoke a wood stove that was supposed to keep a big 2-story house warm. And
That's what I've been doing. Thomas Leroy, amen. Keep going, J-Dubs.
it happens. And saying that Dominion is somehow scoffing at all of the people without power when they have probably called in people from out of state, because it's not a matter of like someone walking into a room and flipping a switch.
Okay.
It's a matter of clearing trees. It's a matter of getting lines back up. It's a matter of logistics, and I'm sure that whatever they think of their customers, they are working to fix this. And just because they expect to get it done at 11 o'clock for this particular group of people doesn't mean that they can always deliver on that promise. That's not how it works. They have crews who are going through the countryside trying to find which downed tree is the one that caused this particular area to be out. And then I don't know how it actually works, but it might be that they get there and they're like, shit, we forgot the one thing that we need to fix this, or this was worse than we thought it was going to be, we need another crew, or we need, to flat out just say that Dominion is some horrible entity that is laughing at all the people who are sitting in their frozen homes is disingenuous at best.
Thomas Leroy, this guy, is enjoying the comfort of his heated home right now.
Are you trying to say that those of us who have our power back don't have a legitimate voice?
I'm just saying, your pits aren't sweating right now.
What does that have to do with
Okay.
power?
All right. It was a joke. It was a tongue-in-cheek joke. I'm trying to find humor in a crappy situation here. Okay, I'm using myself as the butt to find humor in a crappy situation. Okay. Bill McChesney. Bill McChesney. Bill McChesney says Judah's got it right. We got both sides happening here. You make a point, and it's valid, it's fair, and it's accurate. This is what I find to be disingenuous. Posting updates on the website that the power is going to be on at 11 p.m. at night. That's the absolute opposite of brand management, perception management, the business we are in.
You and I often deal with this issue.
How so? With clients you're talking? Or customers that service our client, that pay to our clients?
With you wanting something done and me looking at a large problem that is much bigger than one person and having to try to give you an estimate. And I'm like, look, normally this type of issue would take X amount of time. But it's not always a normal issue. And how often do you come across if it was the exact same issue that occurred repeatedly, I could say, yeah, this is going to take me 20 minutes. I'd fix this once a week. But oftentimes, it's a matter of searching for the solution. And you think you know what the solution is if you could just find it.
I'll counter this. Janice Boyce Trevelyan will get to your comment. Kevin Higgins will get to your comment. We have 3 different states on the show right now, many in the Commonwealth, from Richmond to Warrenton to Culpeper to Lynchburg, Crozet, Ivy, Keswick, Belmont, City of Charlottesville, all watching the program as we speak. Nathan West, hello. Welcome to the program. I love Mad Hatter. William Clark, hello. Welcome to the program. Nathan West, you need to come on this program. Mad Hatter's the bomb. Conversation amongst friends. 10 years of working alongside each other. I'm going to throw this to you. Their communication methodology, Dominion's methodology is piss poor.
What are they supposed to do? Call each of you individually They're trying to keep you updated, and they're giving you their best estimate.
Their estimate should not be on the short side. Their estimate should be in brand management. This is brand management 101. This is PR 101. It should be on the long side. The estimate that sets expectations, the threshold of normalcy, should be on the long end and not on the short end. You give me that. You gotta give me that. That is. I'm confident in confidence and conviction that I'm right there.
I don't think there's a right and wrong here.
I mean, madre carajo, someone is standing up for Dominion over here.
No, you have a point, but it's not the point. They're trying to help you guys. They're trying to give you updates, and they're probably being hopeful, or maybe they think they have the solution, and then who knows? Maybe fixing one area causes something else to fall further down the line.
Here's a fair question. You drive in eastern Albemarle County, the Keswick area, and you legitimately see trees that are so heavy from snow and ice collapsed on power lines. That's not Dominion's fault. Okay? The trees collapsed on power lines. Literally, the tree limbs in the trees being supported by the freaking power lines, okay? Here's the question I have, and someone please offer this perspective. Johnny Ornelas, Thomas Leroy, Kelly Postle Jackson, Kevin Higgins, Bill McChesney, Ray Cadell. Someone help me with this perspective. Whose job or responsibility is it to make sure that the trees that overhang the power lines are cut back before snowpocalypses happen? Does anyone have that answer? Whose job? Is it the jurisdiction? Is it Albemarle County's responsibility? Albemarle County, the jurisdiction. Is it Albemarle? Is it VDOT? Or is it Dominion's responsibility to trim the trees back to prevent power outages of this magnitude from happening? That is are you wondering that?
That's a great question.
Does anyone know that answer? Please put it in the feed.
I've often wondered.
Okay, Johnny Ornelas says the owners of the property. I'm talking about roads, like down 250. Whose responsibility is it to cut the trees back?
And why does the power go out every bloody year if somebody's taking care of this issue?
Does this not prioritize or make you value even more underground utilities? Keith Woodard. Mm-hmm. Keith Woodard is a developer. Keith Woodard owns the Woodard properties where Seville Coffee is. Few years ago, in fact it was 2019, Keith Woodard wanted to build a epicenter on Water Street that was going to be the home to the new farmers market. In conjunction with the city of Charlottesville, a public-private joint venture, they spent $2 million. $2 million. You know what that's from?
I do.
What?
It's from I can't remember his name. It's Mike Myers.
Austin Powers. $2 million. Burying and undergrounding utilities on Water Street in the city of Charlottesville. Over $2 million. Then Keith Woodard, because of the dysfunction within City Hall, walked away from $2 million of underground utility infrastructure because he did not want to deal with the young and the restless as the world turns, Cricket, Victor, and Jack soap opera that is Charlottesville government. But guess what, J-Dubs? Guess what, my friend, mi amigo, pal, colleague, family? The underground utilities kept the power from going out because they were not succumb, or they did not face snowpocalypse. They were under the ground. Underground utilities seem pretty dope, don't they?
Yeah.
Scottsville at the earliest is getting power back on Friday. Friday at the earliest. Friday at the earliest.
You're saying because of Dominion?
Because exposed utilities and because of Dominion. Thomas Leroy. Love Thomas Leroy. Freaking love you, Thomas Leroy. Miss seeing you, Thomas Leroy. If I saw you right now, Thomas Leroy, I'd give you a flying chest bump. The state is never ready for such a thing because they don't have a contingency plan, Thomas Leroy says. Appalachian Power has given Friday for Scottsville area, so at least they're doing the long haul. Route 20 is riddled with downed trees. This should be a maintenance process during spring and summer. Again, they don't spend money on contingency plans. That's the problem. That is the effing problem here. We have government reacting to problems as opposed to preparing for them. We have jurisdictions reacting once the crap has hit the fan as opposed to preparing for the crap to hit the fan. And the preparation for the crap hitting the fan is cutting the trees back on major thoroughfares where electrical grids power homes in highly dense, highly populated areas. Seems like common sense to me.
It's hardly news. I mean, it's not it's...
That is common sense.
I didn't mean to say
that is the definition of common sense.
I didn't mean to say it wasn't common sense. It is. I often wonder...
Judd Norrell, welcome to the program. Give Judd some props. That's your boy.
Judd Norrell?
Yeah.
He's a good man.
He's watching the show and giving you some props. We need accountability from utility companies. And the only way we're going to get accountability from utility companies, there's one of two ways that I can see. And I'm curious of your take. Way number one to get accountability from utility companies is to have more competitors in the space of utilities. Competition breeds accountability. If I can open my wallet and say, to hell with you, you're giving me terrible service, I'm going to your direct competitor, it's going to make the first company more accountable and force them to provide better service. Unfortunately, that is not the circumstance we have here. And I can't believe I'm saying this because I'm a libertarian, a guy who's fiscally conservative and socially liberal, and a guy who does not want the government in my pocket telling me what to do. But when it comes to public utilities, the government, and I'm talking Richmond, I'm talking our delegates, our state legislator, has got to do a much better job regulating utility in Dominion. We're not going to get more competitors in the space. We're just not. The alternative option we have for accountability is government regulation. And it pains me to say that as a libertarian. But utilities are like breathing oxygen, drinking water, and eating fluffy, cheese-integrated, basil-integrated eggs from my wife's stovetop hibachi lit up by a miner's light on her forehead. They're necessities for living. Regulation is paramount. There's a reason Dominion is one of the top political donors to politician campaigns, because they want control of the narrative and control of policy. They donate to politicians because they want to influence policy making. The first step to accountability of utility companies is campaign finance reform. And until campaign finance reform is prioritized and really gets a spotlight shined upon it, we are going to have monopolies of this magnitude. Can you think of a more significant monopoly in the Commonwealth of Virginia? Someone help me here. What is a more significant monopoly, a more damning monopoly, a more market share cannibalizing monopoly than Dominion Electric? Can you name one? Name one. Put it in the feed. Put it in the feed. Put it in the feed now on any social media platform you're watching up on. Can you think of one? Think of one. Name one. What?
Water?
No. Can anyone? Anyone? What is a more market share consuming, more market share cannibalizing monopoly than Dominion Electric and electricity in the Commonwealth of Virginia? Someone put it in the feed. Someone put it in the feed. Bill McChesney says cable in Charlottesville. That's not a bad one. Bill, I would counter your comment of cable in Charlottesville by saying streaming of networks on devices like Apple TV and Roku TV through internet service providers has deprioritized the monopoly cannibalization that Xfinity and Comcast has in the Charlottesville area. Don't need it now, right?
I'd say it's an alternative. It's not.
I don't even have cable.
I don't either.
So two people right here don't have cable.
But if you want cable, he's right. You don't have much choice.
Kevin Higgins says Virginia ABC, or Scott Bandy. Props to Scott Bandy. I'm responding to your comment right now. Scott Bandy says Virginia ABC stores. There you go. Gosh, the viewers are smart. That's one. Scott Bandy just got one that's more market share cannibalizing than Dominion Electric, and it's the liquor in the Commonwealth of Virginia through ABC. Scott Bandy for you. That's one, right? Can't buy liquor or anything else. You do have the Central Virginia Electric Co-op. You do have Rappahannock Electric. You do have Dominion. You have a couple of options for Dominion, for electric. Liquor you can only buy through one spot, government-controlled packaging store that that they've labeled ABC. Alcohol and Beverage Control. Name another one. Can we name another one? Kevin Higgins says the two gas companies in Seaville. Ting is there but limited. Ting is fantastic. Xfinity is Bill's ISP. Thomas says you still need internet access to stream the networks. He's right. Thomas Leroy, you're making us better. That was Judah's point. There are multiple internet companies, though. You got CenturyLink. You got Ting. Ting is the best. The power of this network. Ting Fiber Internet. You got Xfinity. That's three off the top of my head. Am I missing any? Probably missing a few, but those are the best. Ting is the best by far. Now, it's not ubiquitous across the county of Albemarle. I would say the most, I'll get to comments here. Janice, we'll get to your comments. Kevin, we'll get to your comments. We have 5 states watching this program right now. We got Richmond, we got Short Pump on our heat map, Crozet, we got Ivy on our heat map. We got Culpeper on the heat map. I would say the most market share cannibalizing monopoly in the Commonwealth of Virginia, and it's not even close, is the ABC. Well said, Scott Bandy. 2, I'll give it electric, Dominion. All right, comments, and then we'll get to the other topics here. You guys make us better. You guys make us better. Watch 1883, please. Please watch 1883 on the Paramount Network. Now, you're going to have power to watch 1883, and you're going to need an ISP to watch 1883, and then you're either going to need a Roku or an Apple TV or some kind of streaming device to watch 1883, but it's damn good. If you like Yellowstone, you'll love 1883. Bill McChesney says, oh, by the way, I live in an underground utility neighborhood. Janice Trevelyan, you've offered comments. The sheriff's office in Louisa asked for help from the National Guard. Crickets from the governor. It was piggybacked on John McGuire's request. Janice Boyce Trevelyan continues. There are families with children that have no food, no heat for 3 days. They can't get out safely in Louisa. Neighbors are helping by social media, but it's not real help. Janice Trevelyan, this was projected to be a 3 to 5 inch storm, which is easily managed for a day or two. The power company now says it could be into the weekend at Louisa County. And you know what the concerning aspect of this is? Did you see the forecast for another snowstorm on Friday and Saturday? There's another one coming. We have people in Louisa, she's one of them, that are talking about families with elderly and children at their homes, stranded without power, no internet. It's Louisa. We don't have great cell service out there, in their homes that prep for a 3 to 5 inch storm that may not have the food and water to survive.
Okay, but that's not Dominion's fault.
Is that not cause for a state of emergency from the governor?
Possibly.
Possibly. Louisa's freaking 42 minutes from the governor's mansion.
Okay.
I'm astonished
You know,
by your response here.
No, you know what astonishes me is
Please.
the fact that we all expect somebody else to do something about it.
Judah.
The power goes out, and people are trying to fix it, but you're saying ultimately all of this is the fault of Dominion.
I am not saying
And
that. I am not saying that.
now
I'm identifying concerning trends.
Now
I'm
we have
identifying concerning
someone else
trends.
identifying a concerning trend, and we're saying that. So what happens if we?
What is the point of the National Guard if it's not utilized?
What are they going to do?
How about deliver some Dasani water bottles to people that don't have water?
Fair enough.
How about deliver some nice, cozy, warm, fluffy blankets for people to cuddle in?
But see, this is the problem.
Problem?
Yes, the problem. Not everybody there is stuck in their homes with no way out. If we were closer together as communities, then my neighbor could help the person next to him who is 75, 80 years old and can't get out and shovel his front walkway.
So you're saying the problem is people not abiding by the golden rule? And we're not arguing here. We're having a conversation for the sake of a talk show. And I apologize, I'm getting passionate about this. I don't mean to raise my voice.
You've been passionate this entire show. And
I haven't had power since 9 a.m.
I know that. And you've been...
I have a 3.5-year-old.
Pushing your viewpoint the entire time.
Well, it is a talk show that bears my name.
Okay.
And people tune in to hear my viewpoint.
All right. Well, then I'll put it back on the one shot.
No, I want to hear your thoughts. You're saying the problem, I'm lowering my voice, I'm getting less,
I'm saying...
You're saying the problem is people are not abiding by the golden rule?
No, I'm saying that there is no one solution to every problem. I'm saying that calling for a state of emergency may be helpful, but what would be more helpful is to see communities mobilizing to help each other.
Judah.
Because there are people in every community around here.
Okay, can I counter that point?
Put on the snowplow to the front of their truck.
Can I counter that point?
And they make a little extra money getting snow out of the way.
Can I counter that point, please?
Go ahead.
Okay? And you're doing a hell of a job today. Hell of a job. Explain to me how the community is going to rally around senior citizens stranded in their homes when houses in the outer counties like Louisa are miles apart and the roads are covered in ice, snow, and fallen trees. How can you go, and this is actual, factual, legitimate, how can you go miles to help your community when you can't drive?
How is the National Guard going to do that?
They have Humvees. They have infrastructure and vehicles and trucks that Americans like us don't have.
So how do they identify that old person living out in the boonies without the help of neighbors who know about them? Let's take your...
This is what Thomas said.
Let's take your theoretical situation, and there's some 85-year-old couple.
This is not a hypothetical situation. This is actually happening.
When you choose to cite your sources, I'll agree with you. I'm not saying that you're wrong.
You're
Jerry, You are talking about a hypothetical situation here. There is no, you're not taking a person whose address you're giving and explaining their situation.
Okay, so you're saying that you don't
some-
think they're senior citizens stranded in their homes in Louisa.
You always do this. Not once did I say that.
Okay, then let's go for very tangible topic here. A senior citizen stranded in his or her home in Louisa County. Their neighbors are miles from their house.
So how does someone in government know that that old man or woman is out there miles from anyone's house and they need help? If the people in their own community,
They're taxpayers.
If the people in their own community,
They have their address, the
Seriously?
GIS.
I mean, are you? Is this a joke?
No, this isn't a joke. This is how they would know. You asked the question and I'm responding. They could look up their names online.
But
They could contact
that means
local Louisa government and ask.
But
They
that-
can create a Humvee train and drive around.
You're not thinking logically anymore.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
This is how National Guards respond to emergencies. It's the
You're
Commonwealth is not called a state of emergency yet.
You're talking about them going to every single home in every single neighborhood of every single area.
That's called a state of emergency. That happens.
Is that what they do? They drive to every single.
Yeah, they do. They target.
How long is that going to take? I'm asking honestly now. I think
I know this is what they do.
They're way off the rails.
No,
but,
I'm not. This is what they do. They form a brigade and they have heavy duty tools and vehicles that common citizens don't have, and they go and knock on doors and check on people. That's legitimately what the National Guard does.
Okay.
And they deliver blankets and water to people in need during times of inclement weather struggle. That is legitimately what they do. But the National Guard cannot do that unless the governor declares a state of emergency. That is logical commentary with the removal of passion. That's literally what they do. And that's not being done. And I don't want to argue. I'm not trying to argue. You know I freaking love you here.
I still think you're disregarding the importance of communities knowing their own members.
Kevin Higgins, Dominion Electric knows who is out of power. They also have Social Security on all accounts. Data gets them the age, address, and where they live. Thomas, OMG, dude, get on the road and see for yourself. Jerry, how are you staying so cool with this conversation? They don't drive a Civic, they are the military. They have heavy-duty tools to remove trees and snow. Janice, the homes are not within walking distance. There have been people risking their lives. There are no plows. We have trees across roads, trees that are the size of full 100-year-old oak trees. Our stores haven't been open. Our gas stations haven't been open. We do not have gasoline. I have seen grandchildren begging for help on social media. Go onto social media and look at people begging for gas, food, and deliverables, propane. Some have gotten help. Men have given their route in and out of town and dropped stuff off on their way in and helped as much as they can. This is like real.
Okay.
Sarah Townsend Williams, my son is legitimately cutting trees down to help people.
That's awesome. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there's more required than just announcing an emergency.
Janice, if it was Fairfax, it would be done. Here in Louisa, we're 10 to 15 miles apart from each other. They can't get out of their homes to get supplies. A lady cannot run her oxygen tank and is dying in her home. Imagine if you required oxygen to live and you couldn't get oxygen to refill your tank. Am I off base here? Imagine my father is diabetic. He needs insulin every day to live, to literally live. What happens if he can't get his insulin refill? Or more insulin because he can't leave his house? He just dies in his home. What about someone who needs to wear the oxygen mask in the tank to breathe? Or sick babies? And Sarah Townsend Williams, we have people with Central Virginia Electric Cooperative that have 11,989 people with no power. It's crazy. The CVEC people are working 12 hours a day, and what is our governor doing? He is checked out. Scott Bandy. And look, I'm going to stand up for J-Dubs here. Judah is the most amazing person, one of the most amazing people that I know. He is the heart of the biggest of Mother Teresa. The guy would legitimately give his shirt off his back to anybody that needs it. He is undoubtedly one of the most honest, A-plus, stand-up, kind, considerate, and empathetic, heartfelt, and amazing people that I've ever met. He and I have worked together for 10 years, and he is effing family to me. I'm getting choked up over here, okay? I will forever, ever, ever, ever have your back, no matter what. And you've seen that, right?
Sometimes. I'm not...
Scott says this, and you finish your thought here. Take a second
I'm not saying that...
Scott says this, Judah, some folks outside and away from their homes were caught in that traffic jam on I-95. Something that contributed indirectly to that debacle was spotty, incomplete construction of commuter lanes. I'm curious, I wonder if our state senator, Tim Kaine, intercepted any federal supply work document delivery drones during his time in that snowbound jam. You want to finish your thought? Please do. I know you're empathetic and kind. I think you just may have the benefit of living in a densely populated area. You know what J-Dubs was doing on Monday? He was shoveling the driveways of his neighbors, his elderly neighbors. Were you not doing that? You were. He's an amazing human.
Look, I think I said it when I first entered into this portion of the conversation. There is more than one solution, and I'm not saying that that the emergency is not called for. I'm saying that to sit here and say that that is the only way to solve this situation is to put the burden on someone else, when I think it is far healthier for us to do as much as we can without relying solely on our piss poor government.
I know, and we have similar ideologies, and you effing hate government reliance as much as I do. We have similar political ideologies with that. You're very libertarian leading in a lot of regards. You're very libertarian leading in a lot of regards. And I get your point. And that's why I stipulated at the beginning of this conversation that I hate saying we need government involvement here. Because when government gets involved in things, generally it goes to what? Shit. We're in agreement. 100% right. But as these folks that are watching, that are streaming from the country, Like Sarah Townsend Williams. Sarah, where do you live? Sarah, let us know in the feed where you live. Judah, it's not you, but the folks in the country are not made of money. There are a lot of poor people living in the country.
I understand.
Kevin Higgins said this. This is the best I Love CVille show in a very long time. You two are providing alternate opinions and make a great team. This type of conversation is what is required for any leader to make an informed decision. Well done, fellas. Thank you.
Thank you.
The last thing I want anybody that's watching or listening to this show on any social media platform is to have any ill will to Judah.
You should probably get me some devil's horns, because I will often play the devil's advocate.
No ill will to Judah. The guy has the biggest heart and is the kindest person I've ever met.
I'm not worried about our viewership. They're good people.
I got your back. James Watson. I'm right there with you, man. I've been wondering why the governor hasn't declared a state of emergency. Like you said, that's what the National Guard does. Kelly Jackson, I totally agree with you, Jerry, but there is also some personal responsibility if you have special needs. We had to buy a generator to make sure my youngest could have her meds if we were stuck. She also says she loves you, Judah.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thomas Leroy, community engagement is crucial, but some folks just don't have the means or can't help. Sarah, you guys rock. If it was not 10 days left of his administration, Ralph would have called a state of emergency. Instead, the guy realizes that his term is ending. If this had happened, in the first week of the governor-elect's term, Governor Youngkin-elect, Youngkin would have called a state of emergency. And it would have called a state of emergency, Youngkin would have, because he would have realized that this is the first challenge or trial that his constituents faced. And his response would be a reflection of his time in office. But instead, we're in this purgatory period. And the purgatory period is one governor going out who's passing the baton to the new governor coming in. And he's passing the baton because he doesn't want to deal, for lack of better phrase, with the bullshit. And I'm going to cut to the chase. Ralph, this management of Snowpocalypse 2022 will be undoubtedly a reflection of how Virginians remember your time in office. You have managed, I don't know how you've managed to do this, but to overcome the blackface debacle with many, 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 many millions of Virginians. But how you've managed Snowpocalypse 2022 leaves a sour taste in the mouths of many. Sarah Townsend Williams, look at Kentucky, the state of Kentucky. They were in there quick. My daughter is at Fort Campbell, and the National Guard was there fast. Janice, I agree it would have been handled differently if it was a different governor. Sarah agrees as well. Oh, gosh. I can't believe I got emotional over this. I just very much am like a mama bear or papa bear when it comes to inner circle family and friends. Like fight tooth and nail. I'm a lot of things, but one thing you cannot call me is unloyal. I will go to war for my family and friends. Now, what companies do we think, if we can go back to a two-shot, what companies benefit the most from snowstorms and snowpocalypses of this magnitude? And as KJ has put in the feed, not only do we have a snowstorm coming this weekend, Friday and Saturday, but they're now also calling for freezing rain on Sunday and Monday.
Oof. So
this is going to be compounded with two different fronts on the weather forecast. What companies benefit the most? I took a little short list, back of the napkin short list of this. I got chainsaw companies, generator companies, gasoline and propane companies, fast food companies if they can be open. The lines at these fast food places are long as hell. Snowplow companies, companies that do the snow plowing. They're licking their chops. Thank God for them. The water company, who's letting the water drip in their sinks at their houses right now? We got all our slow drips in our sinks right now. Water's going up. What am I missing here? You missing any? Am I missing any that you can think of? What do you guys got? Put them in the feed. Thomas says Starbucks, tree cutting companies.
Yeah, tree removal.
Tree removal and tree cutting. Sarah says people can't even find propane grill tanks in Scottsville. Please, she says, she's begging, please, if anyone in Buckingham or Scottsville needs help, reach out by private message, please. Any we missing? Instacart, KJ, Kelly Jackson, groceries, if you can get to them. What are we missing? I mean, Chick-fil-A on Pantops has been opening late, but yesterday on the way home, what I did yesterday, sprinted to get to the house before dark at 4:30, got our son and got my wife and our son in the car, headed immediately out to Chick-fil-A, bought a massive platter of nuggets. The massive platter of nuggets was our food for last night, our breakfast for this morning, and is going to be her and our son's lunch for today as well. So this massive platter of nuggets is feeding us 3 meals. What are we missing? Who else benefits in snowpocalypses? You can't find gas or propane in Louisa either. Multiple people are putting that on the feed. Dude, you know what the crappy situation of this is? Here's the crappy situation. COVID and this pandemic have magnified, intensified the wealth gap. The rich got richer, the poor got poorer. COVID and this pandemic have magnified and intensified the educational gap. Private schools, school as normal, in-person schooling. public schools, hybrid at best, some shadow of its former self. Snowpocalypse has magnified and intensified living conditions and quality of life between wealthy and poor. Generators deep freezers and basements with backup food, wealthy. Neighborhoods plowed quicker, HOA communities, wealthy. Roads cleared. Clear roads let you go out to get groceries, let you get more insulin, more oxygen tanks, more insulin if you're diabetic. Poor, outer counties. Lower cost of housing. Roads not plowed. Trees blocking roads. Groceries and businesses closed. Gas, propane not available. Constantly, as a kid, my father, my old man, would preach to my brother and I, life is not fair. It is a dog-eat-dog world. Said that to us when we were like knee-high. Heard it so much it became, we ignored it. Then you live and you realize it's the reality. Darwinism. Janice, my house with a generator is 47 degrees today, and that's with the generator on. 47 degrees. I agree. That is the silver lining, KPJ. KPJ says this. The silver lining of this, and we were talking about this earlier today, my wife and I. The silver lining about this is Omicron is raging right now, right? Snowpocalypse is essentially quarantine us during Omicron. You got to find the positivity in something. Parents, we have a kid. We were worried about this. Sending our kid back to school when Omicron was at its full force, post-holidays and New Year's, when people were traveling and in the festive spirit and interacting with people over Hanukkah and Christmas and New Year's Eve. We were nervous about what to do with our kid and sending him to school. Well, Snowpocalypse made that decision for us. The silver lining is the quarantining of folks in Virginia and in Central Virginia, protecting them from Omicron. I don't even want to talk about the Barracks Road snow mountain. Maybe we save that topic for tomorrow. And the over-under when the snow mountain at Barracks Road is going to melt. With snow and ice on the horizon, what, potentially into March, J-Dubs?
I'd give it June.
You say June?
Did you see that thing?
It's massive. You got the photo? We can put them back on screen? Look at the screen. This is the snow mountain at Barracks Road Shopping Center as of now, Wednesday, January 5th at 1:56 p.m. Let us know when it's on screen.
What's up?
It's on screen. Look at the screen. Look at the screen. Look at the screen. That thing is freaking massive, dude. Is it not?
That's 20 feet high easy.
At least. And snow and ice on the horizon. It puts ACC basketball and UVA's 75-65 victory over the Clemson Tigers into perspective and really trivializes it a little bit, doesn't it? The Hoos are 9-5, 3-1 in ACC play, and travel to North Carolina on Saturday. I couldn't watch the game. I had my Apple Watch on, and I have the ESPN app, and I was checking it every 30 seconds as it refreshed just to see the score update. And I was going to talk about Troy Aikman starting a light beer company called 8 in all caps, EIGHT, all capitalized. 8 will be sold in Texas, where the former NFL star was a global celebrity as quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, Hall of Famer. He's starting a light beer company. Aikman has done a very good job, the 55-year-old, of capitalizing on his brand recognition. Kevin Higgins, love you, KH. Love seeing the photos of you with your daughter over the holidays. Right now we are all experiencing negative things, one thing after another. A shift will come in the other direction soon. Emotions prove we are alive, and these things haven't beaten us. A rebound is coming for all of us. Amen. I agree with that. That's poignant. I'm going to read that again from Kevin Higgins, who routinely contributes to this show. Right now, we are all experiencing negative things, one thing after another. A shift will come in the other direction soon. Emotions prove we are alive, and these things haven't beaten us. A rebound is coming for all of us. Yes. Yes, Kevin Higgins. Yes. Thank you. Charles Endicott. I don't think I've seen you comment before. Charles, thank you for watching the show. It's been bigger in the past. They now do smaller mountains at Barracks Road. Janice says we should start a poll for charity of when Barracks Road Snow Mountain will demise. Mount Slushmore, according to Lloyd Snook, the city councilor. Lloyd Snook. Jim Hamlet. Must be nice to afford an Apple Watch. It was a gift from my mother-in-law, Jim Hamlet. Must be nice to afford an Apple Watch. My mother-in-law gave me that gift. She's awesome. I think she's watching in Long Island. All right, that's the 98-minute edition of the I Love CVille show. We are back in the saddle tomorrow, Thursday, at 12:30. Are the Today Mañana boys, the Erpies, doing Today Mañana at 10:15? I believe they are, as of now, right?
Yep.
Do they give you the green light that they'll be here at 10:15?
As per the last email yesterday, I think, yeah.
Okay. Today Mañana, 10:15 a.m. on the I Love CVille network with Alex Erpy and Xavier Erpy, Nicholas Erpy, and potentially Michael Erpy, right? And then the I Love CVille show at 12:30 tomorrow. Thomas Leroy, we have plenty of snow to keep those beers cold. The booze companies are selling a hell of a lot of booze because we're certainly consuming them at home, aren't we?
Well, apparently not everybody. I mean, we were talking about people that can't leave their homes.
Touche. Good afternoon, everyone. Stay safe, stay warm, and to Judah's credit, the big-hearted, most empathetic person I know, check on your neighbors, embody the golden rule, and knock on your neighbor's door and see how they're doing. You might just save a life. My name is Jerry Miller for Judah Wickower. Keep your chin up.